glow. Takes your mind wherever it goes. Don't want to see you go, but it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine with me.
What is a legend? A tall tale? A myth? Does it have to be a story about King Arthur or Paul Bunyan? Or can a legend be real? I think we all know someone who's larger than life. Someone who everyone's got a story about. I have a friend like that. His name is Zeb.
There's this feeling with Zeb that his presence is known. You know, like he could be, his presence is known right here. Every time you think about Zeb, you just think he's right there.
And there's always been something about Zeb that he has an aura to him that you just can't help but love him.
Zeb's legend seems to grow with every tale I hear. Folklore, where reality and fiction are hard to tell apart.
That was still at school.
So can you just describe what he looks like?
Me, about 8 inches taller, masculine.
He's got probably 2 to 3 inch long hairs on his shoulder that lay flat, kind of like a wolf man.
So he's like a mystic god or something. You know, I mean, just really strange.
They would make him shave again halfway through his shift because you can't have a beard when you're working at McDonald's.
His very first word was shit. In context.
He shot my hand.
After you've sifted through the stories, maybe the most remarkable thing to learn about Zeb is that he's a real person. I'm from northern Wisconsin, the kind of town where everybody knows everybody else. I was the kid running around everywhere with a video camera, making movies and writing plays. One of my biggest collaborators was Zeb Butterfield.
Hey, Andrew.
Since then, we've drifted apart, separated by an hours-long car ride. I set out to find Zeb, but before I did, I wanted to learn what's special about him. Why does everyone in town have a Zeb story?
Okay, so we're going to talk to David Rankila, who was my high school band director.
Rank is the kind of guy who can remember every one of his students.
That's the main thing, is to make the kids better people, and I hope I did that.
Yeah.
Because I worked with some of the best kids I've ever seen in my life.
Do you know anything about his location?
Zeb is one of Rank's favorite students to talk about.
He needed an outlet. You know, some people do the sports and all of this and writing and so on, but Zeb was just one of those people that you really liked being around.
Music was always a part of Zeb's life.
We've always had a guitar around the house. Music is a part of our family. He does some coffee shop stuff.
Zeb's mom, Candy Butterfield, was there when Zeb, his brother Jake, and I made videos.
Freak.
I always had a band in my basement, and I always had, you know, movies being made in the backyard and things like that. That's just always been something they enjoyed and did well.
I wanted to talk to you about something.
She knew we all had potential, but recognized Zeb's special ability.
When he does decide to do something, when he does choose to do something, he does it well, and he does it with all his heart.
His talent presents itself in many ways, but especially in his amazing musical gift.
People can learn to play music, and you know, Zeb cheats. He can just do it naturally.
With every strum of a guitar or strike of a keyboard, Zeb made a connection.
He's not an outgoing, obnoxious type of a person, but whatever comes out of his mouth has meaning, and it truly, he speaks to people.
But stories of his legend rarely include insight like that. They miss the personal quality that made Zeb a special person to begin with.
Even though we meshed well and enjoyed playing guitar with each other and doing comedy stuff with each other, I knew we wouldn't go down the same path in life. When we were in junior high,
Jake Butterfield is Zeb's older brother and was his best friend growing up.
And he's freak master funk.
he would go off for hours into the woods. If we were able to go back to the house we grew up in, I could show you where he would have little teepees in the woods that he would build. He would spend hours there. Sometimes we weren't sure if he was coming home because he loved the woods and he loved living in the woods.
According to his family, Zeb has moved in the woods permanently now. off the Echo Trail near Ely, Minnesota.
When I found out that he was living in a log cabin without running water, I was shocked for about 3 seconds, and then I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
It's a lifestyle you probably wouldn't understand unless you know Zeb.
At this point, he's very happy, he's very content. He's moving forward with his music, and I like to see him in the place that he's at right now.
For me to fully understand who Zeb is now, where he is, what he's learned, I'll have to find him and learn from the man himself. Only then can I understand the living legend and separate myth from reality.
See where the wind does blow, takes your mind wherever it goes.
Ely,
Don't
Minnesota.
wanna see you go, but it's fine.
A city at the edge of hundreds of miles of wilderness. It's a place as far removed from society as you can get while still keeping a connection to the real world. My friend Zeb Butterfield went to Ely 6 years ago. After learning more about what he's meant to people's lives, I went to find him.
No place to go and no home left home.
Finding Zeb is like maybe looking for Bigfoot, I think, nowadays, so I really don't know what to tell you.
If you went to 3 different of the restaurants and asked, I guarantee 2 of the 3 will tell you where he is.
As I set out, I didn't know what I'd discover. Would my expectation meet reality?
Zeb, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Pretty
Awesome,
good.
dude.
How are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
How's life up here?
Life up here is good.
Zeb was just as I remembered him, full of life and laughter, articulate and insightful.
We sweep it off to the side.
Zeb took me several miles out of town to his cabin on a lake.
And I needed to move out of a tent because it was going to be cold soon.
We had to park the car and walk the last few hundred yards.
So this place, you got the lake. What are some other great features here?
My life right now. Let's see. Well, I wake up in the morning, typically have a cup of coffee, and then I go to work for about 8 hours a day, sometimes 10, in the summertime more time, like 10 or 12 hours a day, depending. And then get off and do the best I can to get into a lake usually.
We reminisced about old times, when my life seemed all in front of me.
Like Zeb and Jake's Cream Factory.
Now, I'm a news anchor and reporter, shooting video and speaking in public every day. The pressure I faced from everyone's expectations helped shape my life.
No, it's fine, fine with me.
But Zeb seems unfazed by social pressure. He followed his heart into the woods, removing himself from the civilization that sped past him while disappearing into music.
See where the wind does blow.
Well, before I lived here, I lived in a tent for about 4 months. And I suggest everybody do that at least one summer of their life. Just live in a tent. It's not so bad if you set yourself up right.
I can walk around in my yard naked and nobody can see me.
He learned so much from his solitary experience that years of school and work never taught me.
I learned how to be alone, which is some lesson that most people should learn. Just how to spend time and not drive yourself crazy. Because wintertime's a long time up here. It gets 30 below. You're stuck in a cabin or your house or whatever for long stretches at a time. And yeah, it's just one of those things you learn how to keep yourself entertained and keep yourself happy. And that's one of those things that I've learned up here, and just to take it easy.
Do you think you have like a special way to connect with people or with just like the world?
Just listening. If you listen to what people have to say, you know, a lot of people put on a face for people. And, you know, it's really just a waste of time because eventually everybody's true colors comes out. And people aren't that hard to get along with. They're mostly all the same, you know. We all don't know what's going on. That's pretty much the trick.
Do you split your own wood? And
If you talk to Zeb for 10 minutes, you'll start to look at the world in a different way.
Don't make it weird. You know, a lot of people get upset about the smallest things, and that's because they're letting themselves. Just don't make it weird. Be easy.
He's just a guy playing music up in Ely. But maybe for Zeb, That's the biggest success that can be.
I don't feel like having a drink after work. I feel like sitting and relaxing, watching the lake, listening to the loons.
Why are legends always about someone who did something spectacular or newsworthy? I think the best stories are about real, everyday people. Those are the stories that teach us something about the world, about ourselves. Is Zeb a legend? Does he have a special aura?
Got a skeeter. There she goes.
Maybe if you ask other people.
Fine with me.
But if you ask me, he's just my friend Zeb.
There you go. Just wrote you that just now.